Popov and his wife Ludmila won their first gold. The Soviet Union has won every Olympic pairs title.
From Washington, this has been World News Sunday, a presentation of ABC News. This is ABC.
I'm Mike Binkley. Just ahead on Eyewitness News at 5:30, a verdict in the murder trial of Dwayne Bizek. We'll look at the evidence that influenced the juror's decision. A search is on in Isanti County for a suspect police believed killed one man and assaulted his wife. We'll have details. And we'll hear from a big name in the Democratic race for president. He's come to town to campaign.
In sports, another second-half comeback puts the Vikings back over 500.
And I'll look at storms that have swept across the state today, as well as heavy storms in the Plain States, all that and the forecast.
Those stories and the latest on a Continental Airlines crash in Colorado, all next on Eyewitness News at 5:30.
What you start with makes a big difference in what you end up with. Start with Reynolds Wrap. Make it right from the start.
Plowwood, Minnesota installs a truckload of carpet every day.
You betcha, Ken. Plowwood, Minnesota installs over 6,000 square yards a day.
It's value. Yep, like free carpet pad during our annual fall sale with quality Queen carpets.
Queen carpets made with Ansel 5 worry-free nylon, plush, and stain resistant.
And the carpet pad is free. Plowwood, Minnesota has Congolium vinyl floors on sale too.
Like highlights with a no-wax, high-gloss finish.
Plowwood, Minnesota's annual fall sale. With free carpet pad.
See our newest store in Burnsville.
One of the biggest objections that customers have is that they don't get the work done right the first time. We want to let our people know that we're going to make every effort to do that, and if we don't, it's going to be our consequences. Let's say that a customer had their timing chain fixed 10 years ago, and they come in and the timing chain breaks down again. Even though that may be normal wear and tear, it doesn't make any difference. They come in, they pull out the repair order from 10 years ago, and we replace that timing chain, parts and labor, absolutely free.
Guaranteed.
Here in our studio, Olivia Newton-John.
On Good Company.
Live from Minnesota's news channel, KSTP Channel 5, Mike Binkley, Karen Falloon, and Mark Stevens bring you Eyewitness News.
It's been nearly 2 years since a car exploded in Chanhassen, killing the wife and daughter of Dwayne Bizek. A year later, Bizek faced charges that he planned their deaths himself. Today, that ordeal is over as a Carver County jury delivers a verdict. Good evening, everyone. After nearly 40 hours of deliberations, that jury found Bizek guilty this afternoon, but not of first-degree murder. Bizek was found guilty of 2 counts of second-degree manslaughter, which means causing the death of another through criminal negligence. Jackie Renner has been following the trial and joins us now to look at what may have influenced the jury's verdict. Jackie.
Mike, tonight Dwayne Bizek says he feels vindicated. The state charged he planned the murders of his wife and daughter to collect life insurance money. But in a surprising twist, jurors themselves uncovered some evidence that helped them reach a verdict of manslaughter. Dwayne Bizek and his relatives sobbed when they heard the verdict. They were tears of relief. The man who faced life in prison had the jury found premeditated murder will now likely spend only a few years behind bars.
Thank you to my friends and relatives, my employer, and everyone that believed in me and trusted in me.
How are you feeling?
I'm floating. I'm feeling real good.
Shortly before noon, jurors told the judge they deadlocked on the question of first-degree murder. The judge sent them back to work, and moments later they returned with a verdict of guilty of second-degree manslaughter in both Mary and Christina Bizek's deaths.
I think anybody with common sense isn't going to drive around with 150 pounds of dynamite in your car.
The jury forewoman confirms that when jurors examined the exhibits, they found a piece of evidence unknown to either the defense or the prosecution. Inside the vest Dwayne Bizek wore the night of the explosion, they found a piece of shrapnel about the size of a quarter. That shrapnel supports Bizek's version of events. He said he stood outside his wife's car, and when he tried to jump-start it, the explosives accidentally blew up. Bizek says he accepts the manslaughter verdict.
I've never denied being responsible for the deaths of my wife and my baby.
We're glad that Mr. Bisick has been held accountable for the deaths of Mary and Christina. We tried this case as a murder, and yet I'm not going to criticize the decision of this jury or any jury.
Mary Bisik's mother, brothers, and sisters have been some of Dwayne Bisik's strongest allies. They're relieved the ordeal is over.
It's been a long trial, a long, hard journey, we could say. We can all go back to living our own lives.
Bizik supporters left court waving their version of Homer hankies, white squares of cloth with a big D on them. And Bizik says he'll now try to put his life back together. And Judge Martin Mansour allowed Bizik to remain free on bail until his sentencing December 1st.
And what kind of sentence can he expect?
Well, the sentencing guidelines recommend a sentence of about 5 years in prison if the judge orders Bizik to serve time for Mary's death, followed by a term for Christina's death. The judge could, however, order the sentence to be served concurrently, which would cut the time about in half. And, of course, the prosecution intends to ask the judge to depart from the sentencing guidelines and impose a stiffer sentence.
All right, Jackie, thank you. One other jury member told Eyewitness News that up until this morning, 3 of the 12 jurors had been holding out for a guilty of murder verdict. But all 3 thought about it overnight and came back today favoring manslaughter. Jury member Gretchen Laubach says there were 2 main reasons for the manslaughter verdict. One, the prosecution didn't convince them that the blasting wires were ever connected to the car that blew up. Also, they were swayed by the shrapnel found in Bisik's vest, which meant to them that Bisik was outside the car with his own life in danger and not detonating the explosives from inside his pickup, as some had theorized. She said the $270,000 insurance purchase was considered coincidental. They never believed that Bisik was money hungry. We'll have more on the trial and today's verdict tonight on The Updates. Isanti County authorities are working on a new murder case tonight. Sheriff's deputies are searching for a man wanted in connection with the murder last night of a rural Cambridge man. As Lou Harvin reports, the victim's wife may also have been the target of murder.
Isanti County sheriffs were told to rush to this house Saturday night because a woman had been assaulted. Police at the time had no idea this would turn out to be the scene of a murder.
We later found out that a young woman had been beaten at this residence, and then after further investigation, we found a man, 34 years old, in a ditch area.
The man in the ditch, 34-year-old Ron Den. A preliminary autopsy shows he was beaten to death. The woman who was assaulted, his wife Susan. Susan Den, who remains here at the Cambridge Memorial Hospital, was able to give sheriffs a description of her assailant. She says it was a man the family knew quite well. He's described as 31-year-old Royal Edward Sanford, a Duluth man who has a criminal record. Den's relatives told Eyewitness News the Dens have been offering religious counseling to Sanford to help him straighten out his life. According to relatives, Susan Den walked into her house last night. A few minutes later, Sanford entered, covered with blood. Den has told police Sanford started choking and beating her, but ran away after the phone rang and one of the children answered, yelling for help. Police suspect Sanford stole the family van, which was discovered abandoned in an open field about a mile from the house. An Isanti County search, with the help from the State Patrol, so far has not turned up any new evidence, nor the suspect. In Isanti County, Lou Harvin, Channel 5 Eyewitness News.
We have the latest now on today's Continental Airlines crash in Denver. Of the 81 people believed to be on board, 12 are said to be dead. The plane slipped during a snowstorm while taking off from Denver's airport today.
People trying to get in to get them out. There are people that are in that aircraft.
Is it hard? Why is it so hard for them to get the people out of the aircraft right now? What's the condition of the aircraft that's making it so difficult?
It's on its top. It's resting upside down.
How are they getting
and it has been separated into pieces.
The majority of the passengers are survivors. I have no word as to the number of fatalities.
Authorities are not allowing reporters and photographers near the crash site while rescue efforts are underway. We'll bring you the latest as it becomes available. The National Transportation Safety Board will begin hearing testimony tomorrow on what caused Northwest Flight 255 to crash in Detroit. The public hearing culminates weeks of work by federal and private investigators. It's expected to last about a week. Tonight on The Update, we'll look at the focus of the investigation into the crash that killed 156 people. But still to come on Eyewitness News, Karen Falloon has details on the storms that have passed and the storms to come.
That's true, Mike. We're on the northern edges of that strong storm that's producing tornadoes in Texas and blizzard conditions in Colorado. I'll have the details. Mark?
Karen, still ahead in sports. The Vikings stop the Bucks here at the Metrodome. We'll have highlights and reaction later on.
And when we come back, details on the visit of a Democratic candidate for president who showed off his oratorical style.
If they could come together and make sense, cannot we come together and make sense?
Sometimes you got it today. Emerson's got it right. Fine tune your life. Nobody's got to tell you. Emerson does it right. Fine tune your life.
Fine tune your life with Emerson.
In this reconstituted, freeze-dried, pre-mixed world of ours, it's hard to find a breakfast that's totally made from scratch.
Syrup on that?
Well, at Hardee's, our biscuits are made just that way, with no shortcuts like some other guys use. But then that's probably why they taste so good, and why at Hardee's we can truly say we're out to win you over.
I can't marry you.
Why? I'm only 6 years younger.
Oh, I don't care about that.
What do you care about? My hair? My tie?
Your
You like
breakfast.
that? This?
Yeah, it's old-fashioned.
Hey, I'm an old guy.
All those years of sugar and preservatives.
You're right.
Nutri-Grain whole wheat flakes. No sugar added, no preservatives.
That's good. Now will you marry me?
I thought you were 5 years younger.
Dedicated to the ones we love.
Swanson Fried Chicken has a surprise for you.
Hey, my favorite fried chicken.
What makes today so special?
Yeah.
Swanson lowered their price.
You're pulling my leg.
Surprise, Swanson Fried Chicken.
Same great taste.
New low price.
If this is your idea of a hot breakfast, think about this. In the time it takes to make coffee, you can make hot, buttery pancakes and savory sausages. Great starts breakfasts from Swanson, a real breakfast.
Today was the day of a renewed push for human rights, and it came from the Twin Cities. Political leaders from around the state are asking that human rights be a topic during the upcoming summit talks in Washington. Local leaders are very concerned about the treatment of Soviet Jews. A man who's focusing his concerns on the treatment of Americans preached in the Twin Cities suburbs this Sunday. Democratic presidential candidate Jesse Jackson brought his campaign to Minnesota for the first time this weekend. As John Wingate reports, Jackson's Rainbow Coalition ran from the pulpit to the farm today.
Jesse Jackson's appearance before this Lutheran congregation made perfect sense to the candidate. It was the Baptist minister from the inner city bringing his message to the group of mostly white suburbanites. Jackson told some 2,000 parishioners that Americans must work together to resolve social and economic injustice.
When the plant gate closes, Pastor, the lights go out. And you can't use race or sex or religion for a crutch in the dark, because all of us look amazingly similar in the dark.
Later, Jackson visited a Dakota County farm that narrowly escaped foreclosure. He called on the government to help farmers in need, much like it helped Chrysler when the automaker hit hard times.
We can bail out the family farmer. We can do it, and we must. The system broke down. Let's save the people and fix the system.
Jackson's audiences were mostly receptive, but some people were non-committal about the presidential hopeful.
I think he's a very caring man. I think he's very sincere.
I think there are too many people that are not ready for him as a black man.
I would vote for him, and I think everybody would vote for him if they could hear him in a small setting like this and really get close to him.
But will Jesse Jackson's view of the perfect world play in Minnesota? The caucuses are 3 months away, and the candidate himself concedes there is much work to be done. John Wingate, Channel 5 Eyewitness News.
Reverend Jackson, along with 3 other Democratic presidential candidates, have made their impressions on the largest DFL gathering thus far. Jackson, Richard Gephardt, Michael Dukakis, and Paul Simon were on hand for the Humphrey Day dinner in St. Paul last night. Dukakis has spent the most money campaigning in the state so far and offered one means of cutting the deficit.
If we could bring interest rates down 2 points, that would save you $30 billion on the federal deficit.
Simon said Minnesota caucuses will be important because they come before Super Tuesday in February, a day of key primaries. Well, we have just felt the edge of a huge storm system blowing over the metro area. Karen Falloon has the forecast just ahead. And we'll meet a man who's delighted to be singing on his birthday. Stay with us.
So what's little dandruff?
Okay, imagine you're at the social event of the year, and your dream girl says hello, just as you do this. Her first impression? What a hunk, and only a few flakes.
Give me a break.
The breaks are, you never get a second chance to make a first impression.
So?
So regular shampoos won't fix your problem. Try this.
Head and Shoulders? But you don't have dandruff.
Bingo.
Head and Shoulders, because you never get a second chance to make a first impression.
Sometimes you got it today. Emerson's got it right. Fine-tune it, fine-tune your life. Nobody's gotta tell you. Emerson does it right. Fine-tune it, fine-tune it, fine-tune your life.
Fine-tune your life with Emerson.
The biggest Chevy S10 4x4 sale of the year. Chevy Thunder. This week at your Twin Cities area Chevy team. Last chance on special signature, specially made Chevy Thunder 4x4. Buy now, get this exclusive Thunder package. $995 retail value, no charge. 4x4 Beaver. The largest inventory in history at each and every one of your Twin Cities area Chevy team dealers. A sale so big, it crushes the competition. Chevy Thunder.
Why is this man being so unfair to his wife? Enjoying his cold relief while she suffers, feeling no desire to sneeze while she stifles hers, without all the coughs and the runny nose that torture her night, resting in the same bed where she tosses and turns. Why? Because while she took a cold tablet, he took NyQuil. The nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, stuffy head fever so you can rest medicine. Now a new cherry flavor, too.
This storm is packing quite a bit of electricity. I know there have been a lot of lightning strikes that have started some fires around the metro area.
Yes, on the northwest side, and it's not surprising. We actually started watching the thunderstorms developing over Missouri and Iowa this morning. They moved into southwestern Minnesota this afternoon. And on our lightning scan, as they moved into Minnesota, much of the lightning strike activity, cloud to ground, occurred on the northwest side of the metro area. In a 2.5-hour period, there were just over 1,500 strikes. Now, we've been watching the radar, too, since very early this morning. There have been just mainly light rain showers. And then as the day wore on, all that activity moving to the north-northeast through eastern Minnesota, just getting the metro area. Moderate to heavy amounts of rainfall reported on occasion. Right now, that extends into southwestern Minnesota, down into the southwestern corner. Farther south than that into Iowa, all the activity is moving to the north-northeast at about 15 to 20 miles an hour. So we have periods of rain and still possibly a few thunder showers in the forecast for tonight. Our almanac says we've just received 0.08 of an inch of precipitation, so most of the rainfall at the airport was light this afternoon. Our high temperature 54, our low 44, and that's above the average for this date. Right now, we have light rain in the metro area, 53 degrees, the dew point 44, the relative humidity 71%. Winds are southeast at 6 miles an hour. The pressure is 29.93 and rising. We have a variety of weather to talk about. A big storm system centered in the central and southern plains out ahead has caused some tornado activity in parts of eastern Texas. Jarrell and Moody, Texas, both reported tornado touchdowns. And just to the east and northeast of Austin, Texas, they've reported now extensive damage with 2 confirmed deaths due to tornado activity, and that's between Giddings and Caldwell, Texas. On the backside of that storm, blizzard conditions with sub-zero wind chills at Denver this afternoon. Evergreen, just southwest of there, reported 14 to 18 inches of snow. A second storm in the Pacific Northwest, gale force winds with snow advisory for the Cascades. Now, that low pressure is centered to the southwest of us. It's not making much eastward progress at all. As a matter of fact, waves will be moving up along that front into the upper Midwest over the next 24 to 36 hours. That means we'll remain mild with showers and a few thunderstorms. That storm system out in the Pacific Northwest, though, will bring in some colder air. Now, here's the question. are we going to get any snow? This second low pressure system will be bringing in some colder air. It's moving much faster, and it is moving to the east-southeast, while this one is moving to the north. It means that this one will eventually catch up and merge with the one now over the Mississippi Valley area. If it merges here in the upper Midwest, yes, we could be talking about some sizable amounts. At the moment, though, we'll have to wait and see what develops over the upper Midwest in terms of moisture and cold air. For tonight, periods of rain and a thunder shower, temperatures remaining in the 40s. Waking up, rain and 45 degrees with some fog developing. Monday, we have periods of rain and thunderstorms, temperatures to remain in the 40s to near 50. Monday night through Tuesday, not much change, except on Tuesday. As we get colder Tuesday afternoon, the rain could possibly change to snow. Looking ahead, we have a chance of snow in the forecast for Wednesday and turning colder after that, with Thursday and Friday's nighttime temperatures in the teens with daytime highs only in the 20s and 30s. So we have to just wait and see. I hate to say that, but I wouldn't put away the snow shovel. Let's put it that way.
Okay, Karen, thanks. Still to come, a late surge keeps the Gophers' slim bowl hopes alive, and the Vikings try to stay in that wild card picture against the Bucks at the Dome. Mark Stevens has it all next on Eyewitness Sports.
Remember how great you felt when your car was new and beautiful? Boy, what a feeling. But how about now when your car is ugly? Better take a look at Maaco's famous half and half car and get in right now on Maaco's chain-wide half-price sale. You get a supreme paint job with new ultraviolet sunscreen coating for longer, better protection. Right, a better paint job at half the price. Here's how.
The Maaco Supreme Paint Job, regularly $499.95, now only $250. Sale lasts for a limited time only.
Act now.
Jeep designed Cherokee to give you more than any other vehicle of its kind. Like a choice of 2 or 4 doors, room for 5 adults. And now you can get Cherokee with an optional 4-liter 6-cylinder engine that has more power, a lot more power than anything in its class. But Cherokee's biggest advantage is one that can't be measured by mere numbers. Cherokee is all Jeep.
Most health plans talk about choice, but when you go to their clinic, your choices quietly slip away. You may be losing the right to choose your own doctor, to change doctors anytime, to see a specialist without a referral. Only one health plan is working to preserve these freedoms for you, PHP. And if you don't have the freedom to choose, what do you have?
If I were to describe the taste of Dutch chocolate mint,
I'd say it was...
it's like mint chocolate chip ice cream melting in a coffee cup.
Yeah. It's an after-dinner mint, only hot.
Go ahead, girl. I think it's like a candy cane dipped in Bosco.
It's mint and chocolate like I've never had it.
Dutch chocolate mint, new from General Foods International Coffees.
It's like when you eat a mint and your boyfriend eats chocolate and you kiss.
Well, it may not have been the Vikings' prettiest win, but it gives them a lock on second place.
Who cares how ugly we take the W's anyway? When the defense plays like it did today, it doesn't matter who the quarterback is. The Vikings did their old quarterback shuffle again today at halftime, but neither really did the job. It was the job done by the Viking pass rush on Tampa Bay's quarterback that made the difference today as the Vikings beat the Bucks 23-17. Now, if Chris Dolman was NFC Player of the Week last week, they may have to find a bigger honor for him this time. Dolman forces the second quarter fumble. Keith Millard recovers, set up Chuck Nelson's second field goal. 7-6 Tampa Bay led it at the half, though. Vikings took the lead for good the first time they touched it in the third quarter. Rick Fenny goes in from a yard away, 13-6 Minnesota. The Vikes' lone offensive bright spot, the running of Darren Nelson. 17 carries, 103 yards. He's the first Viking over 100 yards this year. That 23-yarder set up another field goal. It was 16-10. The combination of Dolman and Millard struck again in the fourth quarter. Dolman the sack. Keith picks it up. 15 sacks for the Vikings in their last 3 games. That recovery set up this Tommy Kramer to Steve Jordan. 2-yard TD toss. It was the Vikings on top. 27-10, down 23-10, though. The Bucs showed some life to Berg there for Phil Freeman. The deflection didn't help. It was 64 yards, 23-17. Tampa had a chance late, but Wyman Henderson comes up with the big interception there. Vikings win this one 23-17. Void of offense, the defense makes them 5-4.
But Goldman had a hell of a rush on the outside, and we put pressure on him all day. It was just a matter of time of getting to him, and Chris came through while he's throwing the ball, popped it out, and I just happened to be at the right place at the right time.
I think we're learning how to win finally. You know, we came in at halftime, and we were cool and calm. You know, there was no panicking on anyone's part. We just thought about what we were supposed to do and just went out and did it. Defense played another heck of a game, though.
I'd say Darren summed it up. It was, though, another rough week for the Viking offensive line. Backup center Dennis Swilley broke his right leg in the second quarter. He'll have surgery on it tonight. Now, Swilley was replacing Kirk Loudermilk, who injured his left knee 6 plays earlier. With Swilley gone, Loudermilk returned, but limped through the rest of the game. Elsewhere, Central Division play today. Detroit played Washington tough, but not tough enough. Doug Williams started in place of Jay Schrader. He connects with Gary Clark for this 42-yard touchdown. Williams threw a pair of TD passes. The Skins hang on to beat the Lions 20-13. Green Bay's trailing Seattle. That one's in the fourth quarter. Tomorrow night, the Big Bad Bears are in Denver. It's a 7 o'clock start. You'll see it here on Channel 5. Elsewhere today, Herschel Walker ran wild as the Cowboys edged the Patriots in overtime. This is Herschel on the run in OT. The game's tied at 17, but he'll change it. 60 yards for the winning touchdown on the day. 174 yards, 28 carries for Herschel, the fourth best rushing day in Dallas history. Cowboys go to 5-4. They beat the Pats 23-17 in overtime. The Oilers are now 6-3, a big win at Pittsburgh today, and Cleveland is a 6-point winner over Buffalo. This one was the battle of former University of Miami quarterbacks, and it was Kosar over Kelly in this one. Bernie Kosar to Webster Slaughter here for a 52-yard TD, and all Kosar 24 of 33 for 346 yards and a pair of touchdowns. Jim Kelly threw for 2 fourth-quarter touchdowns, but Cleveland held off a late Buffalo rally. They beat the Bills 27-21. They're now 6-3. Elsewhere, the Jets over Kansas City. The Chiefs are now 1-8. The Rams by 3 over St. Louis, and it's Indianapolis 40-21 over Miami. Indy continues to be the surprise of 87. Eric Dickerson rushed for 154 yards and this 4-yard touchdown, but the Colts also got some mileage out of Albert Bentley. He rushed for 83 yards and 2 fourth-quarter touchdowns. Indy outguns Marino Corps. They beat the Dolphins 40-21. The Colts are 5-4. A real snoozer still going. The Falcons by a point over the Bengals. In the fourth period, New Orleans is surprising San Francisco, and the Giants are a 3-point leader over Philadelphia. That's in the fourth. Tonight, the Raiders play at San Diego. Well, the Gopher football team will be trying to reclaim the bronze pig next Saturday. If they do beat Iowa, the bronze is going to seem more like gold to the Gophers. That's because a win in their regular season finale could very well get them a postseason bowl bid. The Gophers kept their bowl hopes alive last night, but they needed a late rally. Ricky Foggy will find Craig Otto here. A nice catch with 36 seconds to go. That was the difference. Gophers hold on to the traditional Paul Bunyan axe. With a 22-19 win over Wisconsin, they still have a slim chance for a bowl bid. Not such a hot weekend, though, for the Gopher hockey team on the road. They lost at Northeastern Friday night, 3-0. To Providence last night. Minnesota is now 10-3 overall. Things didn't go any better for the North Stars on the road last night either. Mike Gartner, a pair of goals, including the eventual game winner. Washington beat the Stars 4-1 at the Cap Center. The North Stars are now 6-9-3. Wednesday night, they'll be at Chicago, where it's always tough to play.
Oh, boy. Okay, Mark, thanks. Okay. This is a special day for a Minneapolis man who's celebrating his 100th birthday in song. His name is Hogbarth Boo, and this is the translation of a song about a river in his native Norway. Hogbarth has been singing with a traditional Norwegian group the past 25 years, so his singing friends helped him celebrate his 100th birthday the way he likes best. Having a good time there. And the rain continues to fall in most parts of the metro area.
For the next 24 hours, our temperatures will remain in the 40s. We have rain, possibly a few thunderstorms in the forecast. Tonight, periods of rain and a thunder shower or two.
All right, Karen. And before we leave you tonight, here's the latest on that Continental Airlines crash in Denver. Authorities say that at least 12 people are dead. 51 people have been transported to area hospitals with a range of injuries. Right now, rescuers are trying to free from 5 to 7 people still trapped in the plane. The plane flipped onto its back and broke apart as it tried to take off in a snowstorm. That again today.